The rain was falling in sheets that Tuesday evening, the kind that blurs headlights and makes city streets shimmer like liquid silver. Inside a small family-owned diner on the corner of Maple Street, a young waitress named Emily Carter moved between tables with her usual quiet efficiency. Her uniform was faded to many washes, and her shoes squeaked slightly on the tiled floor. She didn't talk much, but her soft smile never seemed to fade, even when customers were rude or left without tipping. What the customers didn't know, and what Emily tried so hard to hide, was that every night after her shift, she would slip a few leftover bread rolls into her worn canvas bag before leaving. She thought no one noticed. But someone did. A man sitting at the back booth, dressed in simple jeans and a dark hoodie, had been coming to the diner every evening for the past week. He never ordered more than a cup of coffee and a small plate, and he never drew attention to himself. His name, at least the one he gave, was Mark. But what no one in the diner knew was that Mark wasn't just another quiet customer. He was Daniel Hart, the CEO of a major restaurant chain that had recently bought out this small diner to save it from bankruptcy. Daniel had decided to work undercover in his newly acquired locations, not for publicity, but to understand the heartbeat of each place. He wanted to see the truth without the filter of management reports. And tonight, as he watched Emily tuck those bread rolls into her bag, he knew there was a story behind it. When Emily's shift ended, Daniel quietly followed her out into the rain, keeping a respectful distance. She walked several blocks, turning into a narrow alley behind an old apartment building. There, she crouched down beside a cardboard shelter, where a small boy, no more than 7, waited, wrapped in a too-thin blanket. His face lit up when he saw her, and she quickly pulled out the bread rolls, handing them to him like they were treasures. Daniel froze. The image cut through him. The boy devoured the bread with such hunger that it was clear this wasn't just a treat, it was survival. Emily stroked the boy's hair, speaking softly. "Don't worry, Noah. I'll get more tomorrow. I promise." The next night, Daniel stayed after closing and asked Emily to sit with him. She hesitated, thinking she had done something wrong. "I noticed you take the leftover bread," he said gently. Her face paled. Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't." "I'm not here to accuse you," Daniel interrupted. "I just want to know why." Tears welled in her eyes, and slowly, she told him the truth. Noah was her little brother. Their parents had died in a car accident 2 years ago. Since then, she'd been working double shifts to keep them afloat, but the rent had eaten away their savings. They'd been evicted 3 months ago, and now they were living in the corner of a storage space offered by a sympathetic landlord. Every meal was a struggle. She couldn't always afford groceries, so she took what would otherwise be thrown away from the diner. She lowered her head, ashamed. "I didn't want anyone to know. People, they look at you differently when they think you're desperate." Daniel listened without interrupting, his heart tightening with each word. The following week, Daniel quietly arranged a meeting with the diner's general manager. He didn't reveal who he really was just yet, but he made sure Emily's shifts were adjusted so she could have more stable hours, and extra pay. Then, one Friday evening, he finally told her the truth. He walked into the diner wearing a crisp suit instead of his hoodie. Emily blinked in confusion. "Emily," he began, "my name isn't Mark. It's Daniel Hart. I'm the CEO of Hart Dining Group. We own this diner now." Her eyes widened. You're the boss." "Yes. And I've been watching how hard you work, not just here, but for your brother. I want to help." She shook her head, tears threatening to spill. "I don't want charity." "This isn't charity," Daniel said firmly. "It's recognition. People like you are the reason places like this matter. You keep them alive. So here's what I'm offering: a full-time position with benefits, paid rent for a year, and a scholarship fund for your brother when he's ready for school." Emily covered her mouth, sobbing silently. "Why would you do this?" Daniel smiled faintly. "Because sometimes the people holding everything together are the ones who need someone to hold them up for a change." Months later, the diner had a warm new energy. Customers noticed the brightness in Emily's smile, the confidence in her posture. Noah came in after school sometimes, sitting at the corner booth doing homework while his sister worked. And Daniel? He still visited the diner, only now, he didn't hide who he was. One evening, as they closed up, Emily handed Daniel a small paper bag. "Leftover bread," she said with a grin. "But this time, I don't have to hide it." Daniel took the bag and laughed softly. "No, Emily. Now, we make sure no one here ever has to." Message. Sometimes the smallest acts we hide come from the deepest struggles we carry. And sometimes, all it takes is one person noticing, not to judge, but to understand, to change everything.